Tonight, Dr. Peter Phillips rejects call to return as leader of the PNP, saying that the current officials should be given the room to address the issues facing the party.
Despite the recent event, I have sought to keep my voice and my presence out of it and to allow the party to find its way through these difficult times on its own without me in any way making it more difficult.
A 4-year-old boy and his mother died from gunshot wounds today after gunmen sprayed bullets on their home in Montego Bay, St. James yesterday. President of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches, Reverend Dr. Peter Garth, is recommending churches include mechanisms to ensure child protection in their annual budgets.
In terms of enforcement, what I'm thinking of is that churches will have to start budgeting for child protection, implementation and enforcement.
And the country has recorded 62 new cases of COVID-19 and 1 additional virus-related death. Good evening. Former People's National Party President Dr. Peter Phillips says he is not convinced there is a need for him to return as leader of the PNP. This after an online petition was started to lobby for his return amidst internal challenges in the party.
I retired from the position. I did not stand for re-election to the post of president of the party. It wasn't a decision taken lightly, and there's no reason for me to change. Right? I have been allowing, despite the recent event, I have sought to keep my voice and my presence out of it and to allow the party to find its way through these difficult times on its own without me in any way making it more difficult.
The former PNP president and opposition leader says the resignations of former vice presidents Peter Phillips, Damian Crawford, Wickham McNeil, and Philip Paulwell raises questions. However, Dr. Phillips says he believes the current officials should be given the room to address the issues facing the PNP and that he is hopeful that the former executives will be included in the rebuilding of the party.
There is a president, there are officers of the party who are in place, there is an executive and a NEC. I think that we should, it's a difficult task, we should give them the opportunity to try to do their jobs. And and I hope that they can do it. I wish them well. I think this statement that the officers made speaks for itself. I think that it raises questions that they would have to answer, and that ultimately I hope that there can be some form of collaboration which would include them for the building and rebuilding of the party.
Ananda Alerts have been activated for a 16-year-old Anicia Bennett and a 14-year-old Ashley-Ann Bennett, both of Fonthill District, Trinityville in St. Thomas, who have been missing since Sunday, July 18. Anicia is of brown complexion, slim build, and about 5 feet 10 inches tall, while Ashley-Ann is of dark complexion, slim build, and about 5 feet 5 inches tall. Reports from the Trinityville police are that at about 5 p.m., Anicia and Ashley-Ann were last seen at home. Anicia was wearing a brown sweater, jeans pants, and a pair of brown slippers, while Ashley-Ann was wearing a pink blouse, gray and black sweater, and a pair of blue jeans. All efforts to locate them have proven futile. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Anicia and Ashley-Ann Bennett is asked to contact the Trinityville police at 876-982-7392, police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. A 4-year-old boy and his mother died from gunshot wounds today after gunmen sprayed bullets on their home in Montego Bay, St. James yesterday. They have been identified as 42-year-old Shelly-Ann Shaw and her 4-year-old child Jamar Powell. The incident happened in the community of Top Hill in Retirement yesterday morning. About 3 a.m., the boy and his parents were home asleep when armed thugs entered the yard and opened gunfire on the wooden structure. The men left on foot. It was then discovered that Jamar and his mother sustained multiple bullet wounds. The boy was shot in the head. They were rushed to hospital for treatment. Ms. Shaw died about 8:29 a.m. today while undergoing treatment. Jamar also died about 12:44 p.m. this afternoon from his injuries. A stepfather was arrested and charged by detectives assigned to the Center for the Investigations of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, Sissoka, in Hanover. The man, a 31-year-old laborer of Haddington in Hanover, was charged with rape, indecent assault, and buggery of his 9-year-old stepdaughter at her home in Haddington. Reports are that in March, the man visited the child's mother at her home, and while there, he reportedly had sexual intercourse with the child on 2 occasions. The matter was reported to the police, and the man was arrested and subsequently charged on Sunday, July 19. Following a question and answer session, the accused man was charged and booked to appear before the Hanover Parish Court at a later date. This is the second case of similar nature in just 2 weeks, as a 50-year-old man in St. Catherine was charged by detectives in Portmore with rape, indecent assault, and sexual touching of his 8-year-old stepdaughter on Monday, July 5. The 39-year-old pastor, Jason Rose, who was charged for allegedly raping a 15-year-old girl, was remanded in custody when he made an appearance in the St. James Parish Court yesterday. The pastor's wife and the mother of the complainant were also remanded. Rose was originally granted bail in the sum of $300,000 when he appeared before Parish Judge Sasha Ashley on June 14. However, shortly after being granted bail, the clergyman was slapped with a charge of attempting to pervert the course of justice. His wife, Kimoy Rose, and the mother of the teenager, whose name has been withheld to protect the identity of the girl, appeared in court for the first time on June 16. The charge followed in allegations that the pastor's wife coerced the 15-year-old into saying that her initial reports to the police were false. It's also alleged that the pastor had attempted to call the complainant. All three are booked to appear to court on July 23. On June 16, Judge Ashley had reportedly refused bail on the grounds that she was not of the belief that there was any combination of conditions that can guarantee persons will not interfere with the complainant. It was reportedly disclosed in court that the pastor, his wife, and the teenager's mother all share a close relationship. The judge also indicated her intention to send the case to the Home Circuit Court for trial once the case file is near completion. President of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches, Reverend Dr. Peter Garth, is recommending churches include mechanisms to ensure child protection in their annual budgets. This follows recent reports of members of the clergy being involved in child rapes and other sex crimes. Dr. Garth says there needs to be robust enforcement of child protection laws and policies.
What we see now with an increase in the abuse of children, the sexual abuse of children, we are enforcing, and I think that that is very critical because in many instances, the law is there and people have guidelines and people have their rules and regulations, but it's not enforced. And in terms of enforcement, what I'm thinking of is that churches will have to start budgeting for child protection, implementation, and enforcement. And persons are going to be put in charge, at least 2 persons, to see that these things are enforced.
Dr. Garth also says that it's important to have every church be a registered member of an association.
Churches are pastor-driven, and again, one of the reasons why I feel that we must have some kind of registration, because persons are coming up as bishops overnight, apostles, big names, and persons trust. And when you hear those big titles, persons have a tendency to just idealize and they become little gods. We need to teach our congregations across the island, something goes wrong because of the household of so reported this. It has to be dealt with. So there is a need for discipline.
The St. Catherine South Police have launched an investigation into the death of a 4-year-old boy who was pronounced dead on arrival at hospital on Sunday. The child has been identified as Nashawn Brown of Willowdean Thruway in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Reports are that the child complained of not feeling well and was given a meal by his mother. The child was allegedly eating slowly when the stepfather became angry and proceeded to beat him with a stick. Nashawn's mother reportedly intervened and was also assaulted. Shortly after, the child became unresponsive and was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The stepfather is currently in police custody as the investigation continues. He's expected to be charged for the assault. Post-mortem results will determine if additional charges can be held against him. An 87-year-old woman from St. Catherine is Jamaica's latest COVID-19 casualty. Her death was the lone COVID-19 related fatality reported on Monday and brings the island's virus toll to 1,158. The country also recorded 62 new cases of the virus on Monday, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 51,282, of which 3,046 are active. Of the newly reported cases, there were 36 females and 26 males, with ages ranging from 2 years old to 95 years old. 19 of the cases were recorded in St. Anne, 12 in Westmoreland, 11 in St. James, and 7 in St. Catherine. Kingston and St. Andrew recorded 4 cases, Manchester 3, while Trelawney and Hanover each recorded 2 cases. St. Thomas and Clarendon recorded 1 each. The country also recorded 29 recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 46,724. And those are some of the stories making news. We will return with other stories. With the Jamaica Bar Association says it is now embarking on a project to help victims of domestic violence, as well as news that the World Bank, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, will provide the government of Jamaica with financial protection of up to US $185 million against losses from named storms for 3 Atlantic tropical cyclone seasons ending in December 2023. But first, let's take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.